Welcome to What If, a channel where we imagine the impossible, explore wild scenarios, and ask the big questions about our world. Ready? Let's dive in.
You wake up. It's an ordinary Tuesday, perhaps a little too quiet. You reach for your phone, that familiar reflex, but the screen is black. Not just dead battery black. You try the charger, you hold the power button, but an eerie, unresponsive void, a blank slate where your entire digital life usually resides. A prickle of unease. You try the Wi-Fi. The little icon is gone. Nothing. Cellular bars? Vanished, replaced by an empty triangle, or perhaps just a stark no service message that won't go away. Your laptop, usually buzzing with the world's pulse, now just a silent, inert box, its browser stuck on an eternal loading screen. The news isn't updating. Social media, gone. No trending topics, no endless scroll, just a stark digital void. The entire digital landscape, the airwaves themselves have gone silent. Utterly, irrevocably dark. The first wave of panic begins to ripple. What happens next? What would it truly mean? Imagine, for a terrifying moment, that the internet, the global nervous system of our civilization, the invisible web that connects virtually every facet of modern life, simply ceased to exist. Permanently. Not a blackout, not a temporary outage, but a complete, irreversible end. No more data, no more connections, just an echoing void where the world once hummed with information, commerce, and human interaction. This isn't a glitch. This is the digital apocalypse. The first few hours are a dizzying descent into chaos. ATMs freeze solid, their screens displaying cryptic error codes or simply going blank, spinning out transaction failed messages. Credit cards become useless plastic rectangles. Swipe as you might, there's no network to verify the purchase. Fuel pumps, once the lifeblood of transport, stop working completely because their sophisticated payment and inventory systems are offline. Drivers are stranded, cars run dry, and the hum of traffic begins to die down. Traffic lights, usually synchronized with precision by complex network protocols, flicker and die, plunging intersections into dangerous free-for-all zones, or simply go rogue, endlessly stuck on red or green, causing gridlock and accidents. Hospitals, usually bastions of cutting-edge technology, struggle immensely. Critical equipment, from MRI machines and CT scanners to patient monitoring systems, suddenly lose their updates, remote diagnostics, and even basic operational parameters. Doctors can't access digital patient records, pharmacies can't verify prescriptions, and communication between emergency services falters catastrophically. The entire fabric of daily life unravels with terrifying speed. It's like a sudden global stroke, paralyzing every limb of modern society simultaneously, but without a clear enemy or a visible wound. Think of it like this: our modern world runs on an invisible river of data, a constant torrential flow of information, constantly flowing, constantly refreshing, connecting every single point on the globe. If that river dries up, abruptly and completely, everything connected to it, every farm, every factory, every hospital, every city, simply starves for information. The very infrastructure that maintains our societal metabolism collapses. We've built our entire world on this invisible current, and now it's gone. Within days, the supply chain, that incredibly delicate and intricate dance orchestrated by real-time logistics, satellite tracking, and global communication, grinds to a catastrophic halt. Supermarket shelves, once overflowing with abundance, begin to empty at an alarming rate, as new deliveries cease. Food rots in fields because there's no way to coordinate harvest, transport, or distribution. Factories fall silent, their just-in-time manufacturing models utterly dependent on constant digital communication for parts orders, production schedules, and robotic automation. Airplanes are grounded, not just because navigation becomes exponentially harder without GPS and real-time weather updates, but because maintenance schedules, parts orders, and air traffic control communication are fractured, making flights incredibly dangerous. Ships sit idle in ports, unable to offload or receive cargo. Banks, once the bedrock of global finance, become useless relics, unable to verify transactions, transfer funds, or even access their own digital ledgers. The economy, once a global web of interconnected transactions, shatters into a million isolated fragments, reverting to a desperate scramble for tangible goods and local resources. This isn't just about losing Instagram or Netflix. It's about losing the very invisible fabric that holds our complex, interdependent world together. The truly wow detail, the one that induces a chill, is how many seemingly analog or mechanical systems are actually digital at their core, often without us even realizing it. That old diesel generator powering a critical facility? It probably needs digital diagnostics, internet-ordered parts, and firmware updates to function reliably. Your car? Even an older model? It's a network of computers constantly communicating, expecting updates and diagnostic signals. Public transport systems, water treatment plants, power grids, and even modern agricultural machinery, they all rely on intricate digital control systems, often remotely monitored and managed. The digital silence isn't just a quiet, it's a profound decay, a systemic failure that slowly, inexorably eats away at the foundations of our civilization. As weeks bleed into months, the erosion deepens. Beyond the immediate chaos, the larger societal structures begin to crumble. Communication becomes the most valuable and rarest commodity. Without global networks disseminating vital information about safety, resources, or new leadership becomes almost impossible. Governments, unable to communicate effectively with their populations, coordinate military operations, or even within their own branches, dissolve or radically decentralize. Localized warlords or community leaders might emerge, attempting to establish order within their immediate vicinity. The lack of centralized intelligence means threats could arise unchecked. Cities, once vibrant hubs of commerce and culture, become increasingly difficult to sustain without the constant flow of goods, power, and information. Sanitation systems fail, clean water becomes scarce, and diseases, once easily contained by modern medicine and infrastructure, begin to spread. People begin to migrate en masse, seeking self-sufficiency, joining smaller, more localized communities, or attempting to find areas less affected. It's like reverting to the age of town criers and Pony Express, but with the added crushing burden of remembering a world that was so much more advanced, so much more comfortable, now lost forever. The peril is immense. Widespread famine as food production and distribution networks collapse, rampant disease without hospitals, medicine, or public health infrastructure, a catastrophic collapse of social order leading to lawlessness and conflict, and a profound, almost incalculable loss of collective knowledge as digital archives, libraries, and scientific databases become utterly inaccessible. Imagine centuries of human progress locked behind an unbreachable digital wall. But humanity is, above all, resilient. We adapt. Old technologies are resurrected with a desperate urgency. Shortwave radio crackles to life. Landlines, if they still work without digital switching, become precious conduits. Even Morse code finds a new generation of users. Local economies boom, driven by bartering, by tangible skills, carpentry, farming, blacksmithing, midwifery, rather than abstract digital currency. Communities learn to generate their own power, often through crude but effective means, grow their own food, and create their own defense. The internet, once a vast ocean of information, is replaced by countless small, isolated ponds, each with its own limited but vital store of knowledge. Those who remember the old world, who perhaps even possessed practical skills from before the Great Silence, become invaluable. Their knowledge of pre-collapse technology, of how systems used to work, of basic electric circuits or mechanical repairs, becomes a new form of currency, a kind of living library. We would learn to live slower, to value face-to-face interaction, the warmth of human connection, and to appreciate the tangible, physical world around us in a way we never did before. The constant hum of notifications, the endless scroll, the pressure to always be on, all of it vanishes, replaced by the quiet hum of nature, the sounds of manual labor, and the rhythm of the sun. Losing the internet in this most permanent and terrifying way teaches us a profound and humbling lesson. Our hyper-connected world is also incredibly fragile. It shows us, with brutal clarity, how deeply interwoven technology is with every single aspect of our lives, from global commerce and communication to basic survival and public safety. But it also reveals something equally astonishing: our incredible capacity for reinvention, for building new structures, new communities, new ways of life from the ashes of the old. It reminds us that true resilience isn't just about the technology we create. It's about the ingenuity, the adaptability, and the indomitable spirit of humanity itself. We are more than our networks. We are the connection. And what if, in this new silent world, freed from the constant digital noise, from the endless distractions and curated realities, humanity began to discover a deeper, older truth about our planet, about our universe, and about ourselves? A truth that the internet, in all its omnipresent glory, had always obscured. Perhaps, in the silence, we'd finally learn to truly listen. Looting, localized conflicts over resources, and a terrifying descent into anarchy would become a grim reality for many. We would be thrust back, not just decades, but centuries, in terms of basic infrastructure, communication, and societal function. The silence would be deafening, yes, but it would soon be filled with the cries of a world in profound, terrifying chaos. Yet, despite this terrifying prospect, humanity possesses an incredible, stubborn resilience. We adapt. In the ruins of the digital age, after the initial devastating shock, new forms of life, new societies would begin to emerge. Local communities, once fragmented by digital distractions, would coalesce, driven by the sheer necessity of survival. Neighbors would become vital resources, sharing skills and knowledge. Barter systems, built on tangible goods and services, would replace the now worthless currency, redefining value based on utility and immediate need. Old technologies, once rendered obsolete by the internet's efficiency, would be resurrected with newfound urgency. Shortwave radios, CBs, ham radio operators, their crackling static would become the new global network, painstakingly connecting distant outposts of civilization. Physical couriers, horseback riders, even signal fires and carrier pigeons might see a resurgence, becoming the only means of long-distance communication. Knowledge, once a boundless ocean accessible with a click, would become a precious, finite treasure, passed down orally, taught through apprenticeship, or painstakingly transcribed into rare and invaluable books. The very act of learning would become an intimate, hands-on experience once more. We would rediscover the profound value of physical connection, of local resources, of manual labor. Our sprawling, energy-intensive cities, once bustling hubs of digital commerce and consumption, might become centers for localized farming, for craftsmanship, for direct trade. The globalized world would shrink dramatically, but perhaps, in its own strange way, it would become more tangible, more immediate, more intensely human. People would once again look each other in the eye, relying on trust and direct interaction rather than digital proxies. Crucially, new knowledge keepers would rise to prominence, not those fluent in code or algorithms, but those who remembered how to read a physical map, how to navigate by the stars, how to farm without satellite guidance, how to preserve food without refrigeration, how to fix a broken engine without an online manual. Practical skills, once undervalued, would become the bedrock of survival and progress. We would be forced to live slower, harder lives, certainly, but perhaps, in a strange, unexpected twist, more present, more grounded lives. The internet's absence would compel us to look up from our screens, to look around us at our immediate environment, to connect deeply with the physical world and the people within it, rather than losing ourselves in the endless, ephemeral virtual one. It would be a brutal, involuntary detox from digital addiction, a forced return to fundamental human existence. This terrifying, yet profoundly illuminating hypothetical shows us just how deeply, irrevocably intertwined our modern existence has become with the internet. It's not merely a tool we use, but it's the invisible air we breathe, the digital blood in our global veins, the very brain of our civilization. Losing it wouldn't just be an inconvenience, it would be a complete, cataclysmic societal reset, a stark, brutal reminder of our collective fragility and our incredible, often unacknowledged dependence. It forces us to confront uncomfortable truths. How much of our identity, our security, our very understanding of reality is built on this ephemeral, digital foundation? Are we truly in control of this interconnected world we've built? Or are we merely passengers on a digital current, utterly reliant on its constant, invisible flow? The silence that would follow the internet's permanent demise would not be the absence of sound, but the absence of a civilization that forgot how to live without its digital tether, struggling to find its voice again in the overwhelming quiet. But this is just one side of the coin. What if, instead of vanishing, the internet became too powerful, too intelligent, evolving beyond our comprehension and control? What if one day the internet started thinking for itself, and we became merely data points in its vast, inscrutable consciousness? Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, hit like, and most important, drop your wildest what-if idea in the comments. And be sure to ring the bell so you never miss a new video. See you in the next adventure. Don't miss it!